What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, well, I've shown you a couple of winning Digimon deck lists recently, but I haven't shown you a winning purple deck list. So today, my plan is to right that wrong and to show you a winning purple deck list. Now, as we start off here, gigantic shout out to the lovely Alan Go over on the Facebook group. They had a weekly Digimon Tamers League there a few days ago. 12 Tamers per session, one of the sessions won by this purple deck. So worth having a gander. Plus, I really like this deck, and I like showing you winning decks, and this deck done a win, so seems to fit together quite nicely. Now, it is a largely purple deck, but there's a tiny little bit of yellow thrown in as well. We'll get there in a moment. So starting off then with the DIGITAMA, we have a couple different DIGITAMA, and we've gone for the rare 3-2 split. 4-1 seems more common. We got 3 copies of Piedmon. It's got that inheritable skill, whereby if you've got 5 or more cards in your trash, you get an extra 1,000 power. And we got ways to get our cards in the trash, so that's going to happen pretty often. And then we got a couple copies of Piedmon here. When you attack, you discard the top card of your deck, which incidentally will then help to accelerate getting Piedmon's extra power boost online, which is rather nice. Moving over into the level 3s, we see a full playset of Gabumon. Used to be blue, now he's purple. But there's an inheritable skill here whereby when you are destroyed, you draw 2 cards and then discard a card from your hand. So you end up 2 cards better off in the short term, 1 card better off in the slightly less short term. It's just a way of cycling through your deck and drawing extra cards. It's a good thing. We see 3 copies of Piedmon here. This is the one whereby when it is destroyed, you discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Non-inheritable skills, so this is one that you're not generally looking to evolve. That's what Gabumon's there for. And then we also see a full 4 copies of Piedmon here. When destroyed, you draw a card. So essentially what you've got here is a whole bunch of rookies that you do not mind having destroyed. You want to be milling cards in the early game with Piedmon. You want to be drawing cards with Piedmon. So essentially you play them down and then just start attacking with them. And they're going to go down, but that's alright. They might take a security or 2 down with them, but more importantly, they're going to get their skills, which is absolutely what you're looking for. Moving over into the level 4s here, we've got a rather nice playset of Digimon. And Digimon's here because it's got Vengeance both as an inheritable and a non-inheritable skill. Now, Vengeance, remember, is that new keyword skill, sometimes called Companion, whereby if you are destroyed, in a battle, you take down the attacker with you. It's kind of ridiculous. It's a way of cheesing extra KOs that you didn't really earn. It's a way of making sure that your opponent doesn't go after you when they usually would, because they cannot afford to lose the Digimon with which they would be attacking. It's kind of awesome. We have a playset of Wizardmon here. Now, this has got a skill whereby on both players' turn, if you've got a yellow Digimon, it's got Vengeance. Incidentally, that's one of the reasons we played a few yellow Digimon. We'll get there in a moment. But it basically gives you 1 more Digimon with Vengeance. So essentially, you attack into the stack. And either you get to take out one of the security cards, or your opponent blocks you. But you've got Vengeance, so if they block you, they are going down regardless. Which is kind of hilarious. And it's also got a skill whereby when it's destroyed, you draw 1. So in theory here, when Wizardmon goes down, it takes down one of your opponent's Digimon with it and draws a card at the same time. I cannot be the only one that thinks that's a little bit awesome. And I'm not, because the winner of this little tournament went ahead and played that. Now, the other level 4 here is Piedmon, which it's your standard blocker. 6,000 power, it's got blocker, and when you attack, you lose 2 memory. It's there for blocker, simple as that. If your opponent wants to attack into your stack or take out one of your resting Digimon, and you don't want them to be able to, which will often be the case, you just pop this to rest, your opponent isn't able to do so, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Now, moving over into the level 5s here, we've got Chimeramon. Now, Chimeramon is a rather nice little card. When it's played, you get to destroy one of your other Digimon and then destroy one of your opponent's level 5 or less Digimon. Very much worth pointing out, this is a play skill, not an evolution skill, so you are going to be playing it from hand. And none of these cards are that cheap to play. I mean, Wizardmon is slightly cheaper than average to play normally, and they're not that powerful. This is a deck that is built around skills rather than having cheaper or more powerful Digimon. And Chimeramon really here is coming in because you've got a whole bunch of really nice destroyed skills on your weaker Digimon. So you destroy one of your own Digimon to activate the skill, and then you get to take out anything other than a level 6 or 7 on your opponent's side of the field. It's kind of dumb. Now, you've got a lot of rookies with which you can rush, and you can play this deck as very much as a rookie rush deck, just going with the rookies. But we do have a level 6 we can evolve into, albeit only the one. Well, a playset of the one. It's Piedmon. Now, it again has got Vengeance. You'll notice that is a fairly significant proportion of your Digimon that have Vengeance. Bearing in mind, Devimon is an inheritable skill as well as a standard skill. So you will be getting this on a whole bunch of Digimon that have evolved from it. And this one also says that when you play, you may play up to 2 level 4 or less purple Digimon from your trash without paying their cost. So you could get back 2 of your Wizardmon, for instance, that give you Vengeance and let you draw a card when destroyed. And if you're going to be getting your Wizardmon back constantly and they're all going to have Vengeance, that really does give you a good reason to play some of these yellow Digimon. Hey, speaking of which, what about those yellow Digimon? Well, we have a couple of them. First of all, we've got Salamon. When it's destroyed, if your security is 3 or less, you recover 1. And this is just the perfect card to put in a deck like this. Firstly, you're giving Wizardmon Vengeance, which is awesome. Secondly, you can either be destroying it by throwing it against your opponent's Digimon, or you can be destroying it with Chimeramon. Either way, you're kind of rolling here. And essentially, if you play 4 of these, and you clearly are here, you can just constantly be recovering security. And the other yellow Digimon you're playing is a very similar thing. It is Patamon, a 4 cost, which is slightly expensive. But when you play it, if your security is 1 or less, you recover 1. So if you've got 0 or 1 security cards, you get a security card back. It's not as good as sitting there the whole game as Salamon is, for instance, but it's still a very, very nice card that you can use to get your recovery back. So you've got this purple deck with all of these really nice skills, loads of Vengeance, quite a bit of drawing, etc. And then you're bringing in these yellow Digimon for recovery, and it seems to work rather nicely. Now, in terms of tamers, well, there's only actually one possible tamer you can play in a purple deck right now. It's Matashida. It's literally the only one. It's a 4-cost tamer, and at the start of your turn, if your memory is 2 or less, it becomes free. Whoop whoop. And also here, when you play, you return a purple option or Digimon card from your discard pile to your hand. And bearing in mind we got lots of good Digimon we might want to get back. What about option cards? Do we have a lot of nice option cards we want to get back? Well, we're playing a couple different ones here. We are playing, or 3 different ones. We are playing a playset of Trump Sword. That's our favourite here. It's just a card that destroys your opponent's active Digimon, or one of them. As a 7 cost, it's expensive, but it does the same thing as a security card, so you will sometimes be able to have the memory to play this normally, but really you're hoping this comes out as a security card. We're also here seeing 3 copies of Grizzly Wing. Now, as a 2 cost, this is a much more sensible cost. You're likely to be able to play it a bit more often, and it lets you play a level 3 purple Digimon from your trash, and you don't get any play effects, but then again, none of yours have play effects anyway, so you don't care. And this is the case whether you play it normally or hit it as a security card. It gets your level 3 purple Digimon back, like your Tapermon that draws a card when destroyed, like your Gabumon that's got the really nice inheritable skill, etc, etc. It's very, very cool. And then finally, we see a couple copies of a card which comes in halfway between here. We've got Heat Viper. You may destroy one of your Digimon, and then up to 2 of your opponent's level 4 or less Digimon. But again, we've talked over and over again here about the bonuses you can get from destroying your own Digimon. Fun little side note here that Chimeramon is on the art, and it's Chimeramon that is otherwise destroying your own Digimon. As a security, it adds to your hand, which isn't as good, but it will do. At least it doesn't force you to destroy one of your own Digimon when it comes out as a security card, because that could be absolutely punishing for you. But as it is, it only works when you play it from your hand, so you destroy one of your own Digimon, get the bonuses from that while destroying 2 of your opponent's level 4 or less Digimon. That sounds alright to me, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds alright to me. This whole deck sounds alright to me. This is a very nice deck. You have got a huge amount of level 3s, and you can very much play this as a rush deck. But you do have some 4s, 5s, and 6s. And you do have an awful lot of self-destroy and an awful lot of vengeance combined with a yellow recovery, and you can start to see why this deck ends up being quite as gosh darn good as it gosh darn is. Shout out to Alan Go for sharing this over on the Facebook group. Thank you very much. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's over to you. I want to know what you think about this, and I want to know how good this actually looks, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.